I'm going to speak now um, on the assumption that Bernie Sanders is is lost the campaign. Maybe an archangel will descend from the heavens and will somehow, or maybe a grand conspiracy will be unveiled. And it turns out, in fact, that this entire time, actually, Joe Biden got no votes. Every single vote of his has been a fake. I mean, do you know any Joe Biden supporters? I know I don't. It's all been a fake. It's actually all Bernie Sanders voters. It's all a genjutsu. It's all a Naruto, a high level. We've all been trapped in the Sharingan Orange Tang universe where the Ichigo Usaka has trapped us in his mind prison, where the torture we're experiencing for 72 hours is actually stretched out into an entire electoral cycle, and the torture is seeing Biden outperform Bernie. That could be the case. But assuming that is not the case, Bernie Sanders has lost what will be his last bid for the presidency. He will not be running in 2024. He's just too old. Again, maybe they could invent cyber machines to keep old people alive. No. Let's deal with, reality here. So, we're going to need to compensate for this. And we're going to need to compensate hard. How do we move forward without Bernie Sanders? Well, let me tell you what I worry about more than anything else. And I've said this before. My greatest fear, more than anything else, is that we go to sleep. Without Bernie Sanders to coalesce around, we all go to sleep. Sleepy time, good night, bye-bye. All you big brain, radical socialists over here in my chat, you all go and focus on other things. Oh, you don't stop being a socialist, but maybe you get a more realistic, realistic. Maybe you get a little quieter. Maybe you stop speaking out about it on social media as much. Maybe there's not that much to talk about anymore. Maybe the social media figures you used to coalesce around put up the hat, put up the coat. And you all get tired and apathetic, and you stop. That's what I worry about more than anything else. But I don't think that's going to happen. Because at this point, right now, we have more radicalized people in this country, our radicalization, more of them than there ever have been, not just in raw numbers, but as a percentage in the history of the entire United States. Thanks in large part to Bernie Sanders, who brought socialism to the mainstream, who was responsible in large part for the radicalization of millions of Americans. Thanks to him and to the people who supported him and who pushed his message and who went to his rallies and who tweeted about him, we have, at this point now, a greater power base to draw upon than ever before. Whether Trump wins or Biden wins in 2020, this world is going to continue falling into hell. This world is going to continue to sink into shit. And we are the only people who are capable of identifying the problems at the root of this world and prescribing real solutions to them. Nobody else. The dumbfuck neoliberals can't, the centrists can't, the Republicans can't, the fascists can't, the SOCDEMs are trying, but they can't either. We can. Only we can, because we recognize that above everything else, it is the internal agitations of capitalism, the disparity between those who own capital and those who work, who sell their labor. That it is that disparity that is the root of so much injustice in this world. Only we can identify this fact. It should be obvious if you just look at it. with clear eyes for even a second. Just look at, wow. Everything wrong with the fucking planet is done because of the powerful and wealthy people. Everything. Poor education, wealthy people are behind the policies and the social acumen that lead to this. Biased media, foreign interference, war, poor healthcare, everything, all of it. The fucking Cayman Island tax havens, the Panama Papers, Epstein, everything. We know all of this corruption and all of this destructive social inequality. All of it is fundamentally because the existence of an economic disparity between people who own capital and people who sell their labor to be paid for using that capital. That is it. We are the only ones. So we can't give up. Whether Bernie Sanders is president or not, let me tell you folks, we would have suffered one way or another. You think a Bernie Sanders presidency would have been easy? No. Let me tell you, comrade, I trust you will believe me when I say that our lives will be suffering until the days we die as leftists, because nobody else has so great a burden of knowledge placed upon them. Nobody else understands the true nature of the stakes we find ourselves against. Nobody else. So here's what we need to do. When Bernie Sanders loses or drops out or goes to Milwaukee and doesn't get enough delegates or whatever, do you know what we need to do? Are you ready for it? We need to focus harder than ever before, systemically criticizing the DNC and the RNC. We need to take great effort to reach out to centrist, independent, center-leaning voters and convince them that we do not represent the corruption of the DNC establishment. We need to find inroads with Republicans to explain to them that we do not want to take their guns, that we do not want to break up their rural communities, that it is in fact the alienation of capitalism that has led to the rural communities of this country being relegated to the fucking dustbin of history. But we can fix that. We need to go out there. We need to be a harder presence than ever before on social media. You think social media doesn't matter? Fuck you. Social media radicalizes people and it will continue to do so in the near future. We need to be doing fucking write-in campaigns. We need to be doing local organizing. We need to do everything in our power to be taking grant money for research projects that can highlight and underline the extent to which the systems in our society are made worse through capitalism and through racism and through the centrism of the DNC. We need to reach out and convince people that we are the ones with the solutions to the problems in this country, not because we're better or smarter or cooler or have larger penises or shoot more virile seed than them, though all of those things are undeniably true, but because we care about them. Because at the heart of all of this political disparity is a deep-seated empathy that is the core of leftist advocacy. That all of us fundamentally, as much as we may hate, and we hate, never let go of the hate, comrades, because hate can be very motivating. We may hate a lot of people in this country, but we know they are the way they are, not because they are intrinsically bad, but because they are victims of a system that is designed to manufacture their complicitness, to manufacture their apathy. They are the victim of the same system that we are. We're just more aware of it. So it is out of love that we reach out to them, and they must always know this. Even if we hate the things they do and believe, it is out of love that we preach the things that we do. And also out of a very strong empirical backing where you can make very, very good methodological arguments for how basically every element of our economic and political system is designed to fuck over the average person. You know, it's not all, revelatory, pastor shit. A lot of it is about raw hard numbers, which is why, hey, academia is very heavily leftist. Of course, whatever. We brag later. Am I arguing for Bernie or bust right now? No. Vote for Biden over Trump. Why? I'm not arguing for Bernie or bust. We have to do this no matter what. We have to do this whether or not Bernie, Biden, or Trump are president. But the fact that Bernie will not be president, again, bar a miracle, means we're going to have to put even more effort into on-the-ground organizing. We need local campaigns. We need city councilmen who are socialists. We need state senators who are socialists. We need mayorships who are socialists. Bernie Sanders started out as a mayor. We need to run all the time. We need to effectively coalesce our support behind people that we believe have the best shot of winning. We need to grit our teeth and work, build coalitions with people who are not socialists, soak Dems and centrists, and even Republicans, like I said earlier, if we believe we can make positive changes alongside them. The only goal is improvement, not moral purity. We need to enfranchise every single person in this country. Because let me tell you, when disenfranchisement rolls around, it's not the rich white people, okay? It's the poor people. It's the young people. It's the people of color. We need to make the enfranchisement of people in this country a national emergency. We need to bring this up at every available opportunity. We have inroads. We are capable of doing this. More and more people, as the DNC grows more and more evidently incapable of addressing the problems this country faces, there will be critics, and we will be at the front line of that critique. As long as we don't go to sleep, we have a chance. There is never a guarantee. Fascism is on the rise too. But fascism is our dark opposite, much in the same way that we are a dark opposite of capitalism. And by dark, I mean cool in our case. You know, in their case, their dark is bad. We reflect and shadow capitalism because we recognize its internal antagonisms. And fascism reflects, mirrors, bastardizes the populism and the antagonism we feel towards capitalism. But rather than addressing those problems, they capitulate to them and consolidate power behind lines of identity, of race, of nationalism, as a way of convincing the average person who is being butt-fucked by capitalism on the daily that in fact actually it's all okay as long as they are very proud of their race. The ultimate cuckoldry, the fascism, you know, where you say like, oh wow, a bunch of systemic problems are being caused by the preponderance of capitalist alienation. Well, okay, what if we told you you're a very special boy because of your skin color? You were born in a patch of land that falls under the legal jurisdiction of this country instead of that one. Isn't that crazy? Now, are you ready for some class collaborationism where we tell you that you're allied with the people who are exploiting you? Nah. Fascism is incoherent. We are the answer. We are the inevitable tide forward in history. And as long as there is capitalist exploitation, there will be socialists fighting against it. It is impossible for that exploitation to exist without us being there. We are like pre-germ theory maggots, my friend. As the medieval folk used to believe, if you leave meat out, the maggots will just appear on its surface. Now, of course, we didn't know the flies laid the eggs at that time, but they might have been onto something in that respect, at least with regards to political advocacy, because when the meat of capitalism is left to rot, we just show up. We are always going to be there. So take a minute to be sad. Take a minute to cry into your baby pillow. Vote for Biden over Trump. This metaphor sounds like some Biden rambling. I might have lost the lead a little bit on that specific metaphor, but I think the overall gist of the motivational speech is coming through fine. Vote for Biden over Trump. Get out there and recognize that winning was never going to be as simple as a presidential election. In the future, because this channel is going nowhere, I am going to do everything in my power to push for ways in which we can build a power base outside of the presidency. It's something the left has always been very bad at in this country, recognizing that local elections are sometimes far more important than national ones. Building that local base is very, very important. I'll try to focus on that. It can get a little dry, it can get a little electoral, but that's okay, because it's worth winning. Time to go riding with Biden. Fuck me. Oh, God. Don't you guys fucking whine about it. How do you think I feel, an edgy leftist anarchist, talking about how I'm gonna support Biden and advocate for him over Trump? Yeah, I know, like, kill me, right? But yeah, no, me too. Yeah, fuck you, okay? You think this isn't suffering for me? I'm being the man of the house, okay? I'm biting my tongue. I'm trying to steal the pain. I'm trying to stay strong for you. Yeah, now that we're Biden riders, we're winning again. Exactly, Warkaiser.